If you Google how much it costs to have a dog in 2025, you are going to see a wide range of figures. The ASPCA says that annual costs can range anywhere from $500 to $1,000. Rover states that annual costs range from anywhere from $1,400 for a small dog all the way up to over $5,000 for a giant dog. And the AKC says that the average annual cost for a dog in 2025 is around $2,500. So, seeing all of these different estimates online leads you to ask, how much does it actually cost to have a dog in 2025? And if you have been subscribed to my YouTube channel for a while, you know that my baby boy turkey bird just turned 4 years old, and I have tracked every single penny spent on him for his entire life. I've been a full time professional pet sitter, dog walker, and pet business owner for 11 years now. And I think one of the biggest misconceptions that I have seen pet owners make over the years is on the actual cost of pet ownership. So I hope with tracking all of Turkey's expenses, we can actually get to the bottom of this. So, right after you hit that subscribe button, I am going to share all of Turkey's expenses for his 4th year in life, which was August 2024 until August 2025. And then I will share all of his first 4 years combined so you can see exactly where we're at in total expenses so far. Because I've kept such detailed records about everything ever bought for Turkey Bird, that means that I also have a lot of cool just information about his life that most people probably don't know about their dog. For example, I know that as of Turkey's 4th birthday, he has eaten 959 pounds of dog food in his life, which is an average of 6 tenths of a pound per day. I've also done some obsessive dog dad things like putting every picture ever taken of him into a Google Drive folder. I can tell you that as of right now, I have over 5,000 pictures of the bird boy. Before I share all of these expenses, I do just want to quickly say that despite everything that I just said, and despite my nickname being Doug the Dog Guy and me owning a pet care business, I would consider myself a fairly average dog parent. What I mean by average dog parent is that Turkey does not get the most expensive dog food. He does not get new toys and treats every single week. He does not get professionally groomed. I bathe him myself at home. I give him the best life that I possibly can, but we are on a limited budget here, so we do the best we can with what we have. So that's why I say I'm an average dog parent. Now, that being said, I do get a discount on a lot of the things that I do for Turkey because I own a pet care business. I actually have not spent a single dime on treats or toys in over a year because we're just so lucky to have had clients and friends and family and other businesses gift us so many things over the years. So we're so grateful for that. So you'll see that some of those categories in his expenses are maybe a little bit less than what you might spend. And then on the opposite side of that, you'll see that I spend a good bit on dog walks for him. Because you guys know, if you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, that I am often not home because I transport pets all around the country. And that's possible because I use my team of dog walkers and pet sitters to take care of Turkey and my other pets when I can't actually be here. So I'm spending a little bit less than you may be spending on some things, and then I'm spending a little bit more on pet sitting and dog walking than you may spend. But all in all, I think these expenses will even out pretty well for the average pet parent. So, like I said a minute ago, we spent $0 on toys and treats last year. That does not mean that he didn't get any toys or treats. He got plenty, I can promise you that. We spent $50.86 on grooming in his fourth year of life. Now, I do not have him professionally groomed. I bathe him myself and trim all of his feathers myself at home. That $50.86 is all shampoo and brushes and other grooming supplies for me to use. We spent $168.49 on supplies and accessories in the last year. That includes things like this dog bed that we're sitting on, a new collar for him, and just some other little random things like that. We spent $342.75 on dog food in the last year. He eats Purina Pro Plan Complete Essentials. We spent $720.16 on veterinary and other medical type expenses. That includes his Bravecto, his heart guard, his annual exam, and his annual vaccines, and just some normal stuff like that. Knock on wood, no big emergencies or anything. But you can see here that he did have a recent vet visit, but that was actually right after his fourth birthday, just a couple days ago. That was a very expensive vet visit, but you will see that on his year five expenses since it was right after his birthday. And then our biggest expense for year four of Turkey's life is pet sitting and dog walking. And we spent $2,500 over the course of the last year on those drop in visits and dog walks. And again, we are not taking big vacations or anything like that. Those visits are all just while I'm out on the road transporting dogs around the country and I need some help with him midday while my partner is at work. So that may be a little bit more than some people will spend. But if you work a full time job and you're single or your partner also works a full time job, I think you could expect to spend at least that much on pet sitting and dog walking. So that brings his year four total to $3,782.26, which is an average of $315.90 per month or $10.36 per day for Turkey's fourth year of life. I'll put some graphs on the screen right now so you can see how all of this works out on a percentage basis. But you can see here how these things add up pretty quickly. So now that I've gone over his year four expenses, let's look at all of his expenses for the first 4 years combined. So we're going to start with the smallest categories and work our way up from there, starting with the other category, which is $24.50 spent on his AKC registration. Then the next lowest category is grooming with $215.97 spent so far. We have spent $281.36 on treats so far and $281.48 on toys. Then our next biggest category is $1,796.34 spent on dog food so far. And then we have $1,302.79 on supplies and accessories. And then our next highest category is veterinary and medical expenses, coming in at $2,467.40. Now we have a couple of big one-time expenses, but are some of the biggest that we'll hopefully ever have in his life. And that is $3,000 spent on his training when he was a puppy, and $3,010 to his breeder, Eagle Ridge Golden Retrievers, based out of Central Florida. I'll put their information on the screen and down in the description below in case you want to get your own baby turkey bird from them. I had a really great experience with them as a breeder. But so let's wrap this up with his largest expense so far, which is all of his pet sits and dog walks and days at the doggy daycare. That all comes to $8,012.13 so far. So that means that within the first 4 years of Turkey's life, we have spent over $20,000. This big boy right here, his total for the first 4 years of life is $20,171.73, which is an average of $420.24 per month, or $13.81 per day of every day of Turkey's life so far. So, again, my goal with tracking all of these numbers and sharing them online publicly with you guys is so that you can see and truly understand that owning a pet is not a small commitment. You know, they take a lot of time and a lot of money, a lot of love, a lot of energy, a lot of effort. It is worth every single penny and then some, though. So don't let these numbers scare you. You can have a dog for less than this. You can have a dog for a lot more than this. My expectation is that over the course of Turkey's life, all of his expenses will start to look kind of like a U if we were to graph them, you know, with those high breeder and training cost on the front end, and then us averaging out somewhere around the $3,000 mark for the next few years, hopefully. And then, you know, we'll have all of those big old dog medical expenses here in a few years. So that's my expectations. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our future expense videos. I will post one of these every August with our annual update for all of Turkey's life. I hope this video has been eye-opening for you, or at least interesting for you. It's been very interesting for me to see how all of this adds up. So with that, I'm Doug the Dog Guy. This is my baby boy, Turkey Bird, and we are reminding you to stay positive.